We're live. We're live. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're live, everybody. John Clinebell here from 2 Indie. We got our new 2 Indie hats, got the prototypes in. So it was very cool. We were out in Los Angeles, California. Actually, Sonnet's always there, but I was out there this last couple of days. I actually flew back into Nashville last night, very late, because we were there to celebrate one of our community members, Cinder Ernst, had just in the last 10 days, it's just been so crazy, has raised over, looks like, when did this even start? I'm trying to figure this out. I can't remember. 11th. The 11th was when it wasn't when it started. It wasn't the 11th. That's the last update. Let's see. When was this posted originally? This was originally posted. I'm not sure. Let me see. Let's get the whole timeline here. It was posted about a week ago. Pretty freaking crazy. I'm going to share this. We posted this about a week ago. Welcome, everybody from around the world and everybody on the replay. Every Thursday night, I do this live show. We're still figuring out the format, so bear with us. Bear with me. And also, I just want to welcome anybody who has anything to say. I am going to do as best as I can to keep tabs on what's going on in the chat. We're broadcasting live to YouTube, Facebook, on our Facebook page, and Twitch. We've got channels on all those, and I think it's also broadcasting to Twitter, but I don't think anybody follows us there. I don't think we've even set our profile up properly over there. Hey, what's up, Mary? How's it going? And good to see you too, Jen. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to get this going. Hey, what's up, Kevin? Welcome back, man. Rachel's here. All right. Hey, what's up, Rachel? How you doing? Good to see you. Everybody's doing good. There's a little bit of a delay. I have to just prepare everybody. There's a little bit of a delay with this whole thing. So just a heads up. If it seems like there's a little bit of a delay with things, that's the reason why. I'm also going to see if I could maybe switch over the overlay. Yeah, I think I'm going to, next time, what I'll do is I'll put the overlay for what am I trying to say? Hey, from Norway. What's up, Morton? Good to see you again. I remember you from last week. What's a better way to connect? Here, Twitch, Facebook? Probably any of them. I don't know how StreamYard. We're using a platform called StreamYard to do the streaming. So StreamYard, I broadcast from here. It takes it right from the browser, and then it broadcasts it simultaneously to like 4 different places, which is pretty crazy. But yeah. So you let me know how it sounded good. Do I sound loud and clear? Last week we had a good time. We were playing some songs, going through some industry news, and I'm also I might have a guest here too today. Because that's the whole thing. I want to, with this, trying to figure out what the best format is for this show. Don't quite have it all figured out yet. Thanks for tuning in. We are going to screen some songs very shortly. I am going to talk about Cinder's whole situation because that was pretty freaking amazing. And what else? I definitely want to talk about Cinder's thing. Those gang vocal previews. Yeah. So for anybody, I was going to share this. Let's check this out. Because we did a fundraising campaign for Cinder, and it kind of went off. It was crazy. There were a couple of things that happened with it. So let me just go ahead and share the screen here. Let's share a Chrome tab. There we go. We'll share this one first. Like, check this out. Cinder shined to record her most important songs ASAP. We set up this GoFundMe. It was about a week ago, maybe a little bit more than that. But it has reached 13,000. We set an initial goal of 6,000. Oh, that kind of sucks that it's cutting off the, let's try that. Is that better? A little bit. Interesting. I actually like that better. Looks a little more like I'm a newscaster or something. Although my camera's a little blurry now. It's like balances. You gotta choose. Okay, that puts me down in that corner. All right, let's just do this. I'm gonna have to figure out, like, with the overlay, what's the best way to do this. But yeah. So thanks for bearing with me. But we did this last week. We set up this fundraiser for Cinder, who has been bravely battling cancer that has metastasized to, of all places, her face. It's just so heartbreaking, and has had some major health setbacks with that. And it just came clear to Sonnet and I that we really, if there's anything that we could do to help her record her most important songs, it's like, now's the time. Let's do this. And it was just so awesome. Thank you, everybody, for your generous donations. And another thing that's really crazy that happened as a result of this, not only just the outpour of love to Cinder and the ability to actually see her dreams coming true, it was a thing where we even it's had like an impact that's beyond just the campaign itself. We actually were interviewed there was a broadcast reporter. I'm trying to do the best I can to. There we go. A local news station here in Nashville came to the studio and did an interview with me. It was very cool. Hey, what's up, Music to Motion? Welcome to the show. Yeah, we're just talking about just a couple of really cool things that happened this week in the 2 Indie world, our little community. We have a community of like-minded music makers, independent artists. A lot of them are gunning to have their music used in film and television, also working on branding, artist branding stuff. But it was so great because this news station even did a story on Cinder, and it's like a 2-minute piece. It was played twice. I think it was last Tuesday when we were in the studio, when we were in the studio working on her songs in LA because of this campaign that went so successful. And it went viral in our community for sure. It was blowing up. We hit $13,000 in like less than a week. So cool that this was all able to happen. And it's a beautiful thing. Beautiful story. Congratulations to Cinder. I can't even like put into words. I don't want to sit here and like show you pictures like all hour. I could like of the different things that like just all the memories that we had. We were in there for 2 full days in the studio in Koreatown. It was so much fun, so much love in the community. And it all goes to help Cinder put into words and put it onto tape, get it into the DAW. And we're going to try to do our best to get it out there into the world as soon as possible. But it's already sounding so good. We had so much fun making it. All right. So that's some of the news happening in the 2 Indie world. Thanks, Mary. Yeah, it was felt really great. Felt really great to do. Anything you can do for Cinder. Cinder's an amazing person. The campaign's still open. Any money that goes to her at this point, by the way, the campaign every single dollar goes directly to Cinder. So if anybody feels like donating, she's in the process of putting together marketing materials for the music and all that stuff. And I'm just going to drop the link to the GoFundMe in there if anybody wants to still chip in and help Cinder out. But let's see what else is going on. So I'm back here in town. Sonnet and I are we're going to be doing a 5-day branding challenge with our community of indie artists, producers, songwriters. It's a 1-sheet challenge for music makers. So it's to how to put into words what it is you do, what's important to you, and then directly connect that to your audience and do it in a way that's visually interesting, perhaps entertaining, but something that really directly tells people what it is that they do, what you're doing, and why they should pay attention. Anelda, thank you so much. Yeah, she is like the coolest lady ever. Thanks, Kevin. So yeah, but anyways, we're doing this 1-sheet wonders challenge. I'm going to before we jump into the listing, I will show you this, our 1-sheet wonders page. Anybody who's interested in checking it out, let me drop this in here and we'll take a look. Still getting the hang of all this. It's kind of crazy. All right, well, cool. I don't know why it cuts off the top of the page. But this challenge that we're doing, there's my business partner right there, Sonnet Simmons. But it's starting on Monday. Monday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We're going to be doing it Monday through Friday. There's going to be replays. But this whole challenge is about saying it loudly and clearly with your branding so that your audience can finally hear you, truly hear you for the first time. To find your why and then show it to the world like never before, connect more deeply with your audience and your art. It's a free 5-day workshop. It's for music makers of all types and all levels, artists, producers, and songwriters. And all the details is at onesheetwonders.com. Drop the link in here so you can check it out. It's going to be so fun. All right. Oh, wow. We got a guest already. I didn't know exactly when you'd pop in here. You know what? I think, why don't we we'll hold off on the feedback for just a second, because I have a special guest that I want to bring up here onto the screen with me. Let's see if this works. Hey, Harmony, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Nice ski valet you got there.
Yeah, it's
a chalet. It's a chalet, not a valet, right? Valet is like you park your car. It's a ski chalet.
Well, you never know. I might have a valet out front too.
You probably do. You probably have a valet at the chalet. What do they call it? A chalet, or what do they call it? Do they call it a chalet?
I don't know. So. I think it's French. Who knows?
It probably is. I don't know. Chalet.
Oui.
Yeah, I mean that's like all the French I know. we just went through it. Chalet and oui. You got some fans. Got some fans already. Jen Richardson says hi, Harmony.
Hi. Hey, Tom. I missed Tom this weekend. I was supposed to see him in Chicago.
Oh, okay.
He wasn't there.
So there was an event, right? Was there an event this week or this weekend?
Sorry,
yeah. My desk. I'm raising my desk up, so just give me a second. But yeah. So there was a conference type thing in Chicago, right?
Yeah. What Up Pitches put it on. It was called Sync Chicago, and they had some ad agency people there. And,
okay.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Nick Phelps was there.
Nick Phelps?
Yep.
Nice. Yeah. So, and you were also at the Durango Film and TV, not the Film and TV Expo, the Songwriters Expo, right?
Yep.
So for anybody who doesn't know Harmony, she's an amazing writer, and she really understands licensing. She's been a student of many programs and has really not just done that. She has licensing deals. And how many placements do you have?
So no placements yet, but I have maybe 27 songs repped by 15 or 16 agencies.
I'm shocked you don't have any placements yet. Sorry, I shouldn't have assumed. I'm just shocked that you don't.
I feel like it's right around the corner.
Yeah, it's gonna happen for sure. It's gonna happen. Where can I get the hat? Oh yeah. So we're gonna be these are the prototypes. And if you go to our Instagram feed, I think there's a picture of Sonnet. And Sonnet's in a 47 style, which that's the one we're gonna do. We're gonna do the 47 style with the curved bill. And this is just the flat bill version. We don't like it quite as much. We're just getting the gradient. We're gonna have the actual gradient that's in our logo on this rubber stamp. And once we have that done, then we're going to start taking pre-orders. They look awesome. They're high quality. The guy who designed these is really geeking out on he loves geeking out on trying new things. And he tried a couple of new things with this design that I think just turned out fantastic. So we're going to have these hats available hopefully soonish. So be on the lookout. Thanks for that.
Yeah, I'll be ordering a couple of those too.
Awesome. Yeah, we're so excited about 2Indie. We just changed over the branding about 2 months ago, I think, and the response has been so overwhelmingly positive. We really feel in hindsight it was totally the right move. Are they fullbacks? So what's the difference? What's a fullback mean, Kevin? What does a fullback mean? Does that mean, is it totally there is a little cutout? Are you talking about is it fullback in terms of there's no hole in the back? There's a little hole. Let me see. Hang on a sec. Let me show you. So this is what it looks like. And then the thing is, there's going to be a custom tag that says that uses our little logo that's up here. That's going to be right here. And it's also going to be in the inside of the headband. They've been telling us. So it's going to be there's going to be like a couple of things with it that are going to be totally custom and cool. Yeah, so this is just a prototype with it, but yeah, there's going to be a couple things, but it's not going to be. There's going to be that little gap above the adjustable band. It's not a fitted size or anything like that. Those would be really cool to do, but I think we got to have a pretty big audience to probably do something like that. You guys are killing it. Oh, thanks, Jen. We're just it's like, what's the next cool thing? So we're doing One Sheet Wonders next week, and that's going to be really fun, and that's going to lead somewhere cool that I can't talk about yet. But it's going to be a fun week next week. But yeah, back to you, Harmony. So Harmony, who has 27 rep deals or 27 songs that are repped by agencies. So you have a lot of music that is being pitched actively to ads, film and TV, different agencies. That's awesome.
And
so
then some people just hang on to them without repping them, and then if they get a placement, they'll send the deal.
So you've got some stuff that's kind of in like, okay, I want to keep this kind of off to the side, and then if we do something with it, we'll rep it officially.
Exactly.
We'll make it official, right?
Yes, exactly. So I just I try not to worry about when the placements are going to happen. I just know that as long as I keep making music and getting the rep deals, it'll happen.
Yeah, for sure. It'll happen. Sorry. There's a lot of activity. This is the third week I've done this, and now this is like by far the most happening it's ever been.
Cool.
It's our main streaming platform. We haven't figured it out yet. We just started doing this like 3 weeks ago. So right now we're just trying it all. We're like, the thing that's cool about StreamYard is that we can stream simultaneously to YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. We're streaming to our Facebook page as well. So pick your poison, I guess. I don't even know if that's right. Like, you can pick whatever one you want. I guess, like, you all tell us what our main platform should be, and we'll eventually get there, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, was asking because I wear my hats backwards sometimes. Yeah, I do that a lot too. So,
you have a lot of awesome hats, John.
Hats are my thing. Like, they're definitely like one of my things. They're one of my things. They're not my thing, my only thing, but I would suggest focusing on Twitch if you want to build a community quicker. That's not a bad idea. The thing is just trying to get some consistency with this, just trying to show up every Thursday. And I don't know what's going to happen. We're going to make it at least an hour a time, but I'm just trying to get into some kind of consistency with showing up week in, week out for something. And then as things continue to develop, the thing is, like, we aren't really doing we're not really even doing the things you should do, like put a schedule up and all that stuff and show. But I think, like, even with that being the case, we're already getting people that are following us. I just think it's like over the course of the next couple months, it'll just, as we get into a roll with this, and maybe I'll do 2 nights a week. I don't know. Maybe I'll love this so much, but part of this is just testing it out. I want to do that. But yeah, appreciate the suggestion. But Harmony, so you've been to 2 cool licensing related events recently.
Yep.
So question I have for you is, so if you had to take one takeaway that applies to licensing right now that will help people to succeed, what's something that you really got from your experiences recently?
The thing that stands out the most is that they want the music supervisors and other industry people, they want authentic music. They don't want it to be like cookie cutter and, of course songs have formulas, but they want it to be like real and from the heart and authentic. So
make music that's real.
Yeah.
Make music that's you.
Yes. And don't be afraid to take risks and break the rules and, get crazy with it, because if it's unique, it's really going to stand out.
So what evidence were you seeing of that at these events?
There are just some people, they seem to be fearless with their sound, and one guy, Ryan Ennis, you've probably met him at a Durango. He's been, I think, on The Voice and something else, but he's started his own genre called hillbilly dubstep, and it's just
Love
the
it.
coolest thing. It's like backyard twangy, bluegrass mixed with dubstep, and it's so fun.
It sounds amazing. I think it's nice there's no rules nowadays. It's like
Yeah,
you can mix anything. And I mean, I don't think that's always been the case. It's
yeah,
like, like bartending, you don't want to mix certain things together. It's going to taste terrible.
right.
But there's a possibility with music nowadays where you can practically mix any styles of music in some kind of an interesting way.
Mhm. And genre, yeah, the genre blending and fusion is really, seems to be going over well, and it sounded like at your conference, the Get Repped conference, they were talking about that a lot, like, wanting that.
Yeah, well, it's like wanting music that's from real music makers.
Mhm.
And it's that sounds really cheesy, right? Real music maker. What makes a real music maker? And some of this, it really goes back to the branding. It goes back to like, does this when somebody pops open that Instagram,
Mm,
is it just a couple of dog pictures and nothing to do with music? And maybe one thing that has to do with music? Or does this look like somebody who's serious about their craft and has something important to say, and they're not afraid to say it as loudly as they can?
right. And a link to your music or some sort of proof, like, someone can click on it and hear it. I forget which music supervisor brought that up, but she said she wants to be able to quickly find your music on your Instagram page, and if she doesn't find it quickly, she's moving on.
Yeah, 'cause she got better things to do.
Yeah,
They all do, right?
exactly.
They're all busy. Everybody's busy.
Yep,
Nobody has time to sit around and like try to hunt for something. I mean, maybe if you have the particular type of breed of dog that they like, then it's gonna be fine. It was actually very funny. The other day, I was having a glass of wine with a friend of mine that I'd met recently when I was out in LA, and I was just talking about like because there's just been this rash of like dog attacks from pit bulls. Like, and there was a big publicized story here in Tennessee where apparently, I mean, it's terrible. I won't even describe what happened because it was like tragic. There were kids involved, and like two of them are dead. You
oh
know,
my gosh.
so it was all from this pit bull that was like totally. They'd raised it from a pup, all that stuff. And I was just talking about. I mean, I love animals. I love animals and all that stuff. But I was talking to this friend. I was like, oh, these pit bulls, they're just out of control. And it just seems like it's like, why would somebody trust a pit bull? And then she was like, I own a pit bull.
You're like,
And that kind of went back in my face. It was kind of funny though. Whatever. It's those moments where you just can't quite take your foot completely out of your
yeah.
mouth. It was one of those moments, but it was
And the
those,
thing is, any dog is capable of harming someone, but
yeah.
some dogs are way stronger than others.
Chihuahua's not exactly going to rip your neck out. You would have to invite a Chihuahua to rip your neck out, I think.
Put a bunch of peanut butter on there.
Uh, oh, yeah, that was somehow related to what we were talking about. I go off on so many tangents. I apologize. We were talking about something that had to do with dogs or breeds, or I can't remember.
Instagram.
Oh, different kinds of things that mix and all that stuff, and oh yeah. So like you might, if somebody has the kind of dog breed that if you're on your Instagram profile, they're like, oh, I love Chihuahuas or whatever it is, or I love Labs, then maybe you're in luck.
Right.
Or if a particular music supervisor loves rats and you have rat pictures all over your Instagram, that's probably going to help you out, right?
Yes.
But there probably has to be something about your music pretty high up there. It's got to be like the number one thing in your link when people click in there. It's got to show like on your profile that you're a musician, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So that's obviously super important.
Mhm.
And so a lot of people were talking about that. So what else was happening?
Just a lot of, networking. This was my 3rd Durango since last year, and, it's really cool when you keep showing up, you start to see the same people over and over again, and you start feeling like they're really inviting you into their circle. Like, everyone I was there with, all of my collaborators, they all felt the same way. We felt like we were kind of like finally in the club, and
So fun.
it was really cool.
So
Um,
fun.
yeah.
You've gone to now 3 Durangos. Have you gone to both of the Durangos that are offered? Have you gone to both the film and TV and the songwriting one?
I went to, 2 in Colorado and then 1 in Ventura in February, but I haven't been to, like, the really special one in June in Ventura. I think you've been to that one, right?
Yeah, I think I've been to that one now. Well, I went to the virtual one once, and that didn't really count. It was kind of weird.
Oh,
And then
yeah,
I went to it in person twice.
cool.
So I've been to actually 4 Durangos, but 2 of them were virtual.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah.
In
And
person.
one of the I went to the songwriters one once, and the virtual the songwriters one I went to virtually. The other one I also went to virtually, and then I went to but there's a difference between the film and TV expo and the songwriters expo. I'm wondering, so what's the content of the songwriters expo in terms of, like, are there panels? Is it mostly broken down into feedback sessions like the film and TV one is?
Yeah, it's, you get 3 feedback sessions, and there's usually, I think, 2 panelists on there and a moderator.
Okay.
And
So
then,
somebody's there, like, keeping things moving. I
yeah,
mean, but it's not like in the film and TV one where there's like 5 people that you're presenting to. It's 2 people.
2 people, yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and, like, a room of 19, musicians, artists, songwriters, plus the moderator, they get to play their music last. They keep time, you get, like, 5
Mm,
full minutes. They try to keep you to 3 minutes of music and 2 minutes for feedback and
yeah.
introducing yourself. And then there's panels like a publishing panel, a do-it-yourself panel, and they'll have like the Durango All Stars panel where you get to meet or hear from people who've been going there for a long time and who've had success, and then they perform. And the showcases are amazing every night.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah, and it's such a good place to find like future collaborators, and it's just like I described it as being like the happiest I've ever been in my whole adult life
Wow.
been at Durango.
Cool.
Yeah, because 'cause I'm just surrounded by people who are like who I would have hung out with in high school, and everyone relates to each other,
Well,
and that
it's so important to find your crew, you
yeah,
know? You gotta find your people. Like,
totally.
and I think that in the licensing world now, this Songwriters Expo is not it's not solely about licensing. The
Right,
Songwriters Expo is they also have major publishers there. There's A&R for record labels.
yeah,
There's a few different angles with all of this. There's so you have like people that are going there up and coming, looking for a label, looking for some kind of publishing deal, and those folks can find their people too.
yeah,
But obviously the Durango angle is very directly tied to licensing, and there's a lot of music supervisors that are involved with it, ad agency reps,
yeah.
rep agencies.
Yeah, yep,
And all the music makers that are trying to get sync,
yep.
are all out there too. So
And you never know, like, what'll happen when your music is exposed to the different types of, industry people. Uh,
yeah, yeah.
I had a listening session with a couple of A&R people, and afterwards, one of them said I could be a third person in the room writing songs for EDM because they want, like, pretty, beautiful pop songs for EDM, and I'm like, I would never have expected that. So, you just never know. It's really cool.
Sorry, I'm just looking for the. Oh yeah, show display names. There we go. I didn't have your name up this whole time. Sorry about that.
Oh,
Now we can make a proper introduction. Harmony is it Galette?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Make sure I pronounced it right. Harmony
Unless
Galette.
unless you're in Kentucky, my family in Kentucky would say gullet.
Gullet. And if
Gullet.
you're in France, you say Goulet, right? Or something. I don't know. I apologize to anybody who's French. I don't mean not poking any fun. Actually, it was because we were like there was something French that was happening. Like somebody was speaking some French language in the studio when I was in the Death Star a couple days ago, and we were trying to like remember the only French words that we knew. But yeah, don't mean to offend anybody, but Yeah, there's a lot of different ways to pronounce your last name is what we're getting at.
Yes,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
And I don't
Well,
mind.
yeah, you don't mind. So Kentucky, you're familiar with like the Bourbon Trail?
I've never been to the Bourbon Trail, but I would
Never.
like to. Yeah. Oh my
What part of Kentucky are you from?
I, was born in Lexington and, moved to Ohio when I was 4 years old, and I've moved, like,
Oh,
all over
okay.
the Midwest. I've moved 32 times in my life. Yeah.
Are you serious? That has me beaten. That's a lot.
Really?
Yeah, I moved a lot when I was a kid. That's crazy. Wow. So, was most of this your choice, or like, I mean, we don't have to get into too many details, but like, were you in a military family? Like, how do you move that often?
My dad was in television news, so he was just always trying to find, like, the better job, and
Yeah.
I went to 4 high schools, and then after I turned
Whoa.
18, I continued kind of the trend,
Yeah.
so
Dang. You've seen the mostly the Midwest is where you've
Yeah,
gone around.
Iowa, a lot of Iowa, Nebraska, South Dakota,
I've seen
Ohio.
all of Iowa, all of South Dakota. Have you been? Did you live in Dan Trolk's studio at one time?
Probably.
Probably did, right?
I
I
actually
lived in,
know some of the same people.
oh, that's funny. I lived in every single house in Des Moines that exists.
It felt like it. Oh my gosh. But I started getting into music when I was, in 10th grade in Ames, Iowa. It was a college town. It was, like, super cool and liberal and lots of shows, so that's really where I started dipping my toes in.
So cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so getting back to the licensing stuff.
Mhm,
So there's a conference that What Up Pitches put together in Chicago, and
mhm.
there was this Durango Songwriters Expo.
Yep.
And so the Songwriters Expo, just grilling you on all these questions here with because I want to get some details on the Songwriters Expo, the in-person one. So I hear it's like 200 to 300 people at it. Is that accurate?
Yep, 300 people max, I think. No, 200 max.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and, you can also bring someone to audit with you that where they don't get to pitch any music, but they can be there with you and
Oh,
observe.
fun. So it's a
Yeah.
little like just a little bit like Taxi.
Yeah, I think so, which I'm going to that next month in LA.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah. That'll be fun. Taxi's a great one because you don't even need a badge to like have a good time there. You can just go to the hotel and just hang out at the bar all day
that's cool.
and talk to people. But
Yeah,
like, there's I do kind of like when it comes to these conferences, once you go to a couple of them, you kind of see a lot of the same people and you hear a lot of the same people, and a lot of the people that are on the panels are like the exact same people.
yep,
So after a while, you can kind of get to a place where you're like, I don't need to see this person speak for the fifth time,
right.
probably. But
Yeah,
Taxi's great, like in terms of, especially for anybody who's like brand new to licensing. Taxi's like a great place to make some friends. I would probably say that the Durango vibe is probably good for that too.
yeah,
Yeah, I'd say Durango is probably a good place to go for that too.
definitely. I've made a lot of friends there, and, it's laid out in a way, and, everyone's there for several days, so there's plenty of time to hang out and get to know each other and, network by the fire pit,
Yeah.
like that.
We got Cinder. Cinder's in the house. Hey, Cinder, I was talking all about you at the beginning of the show. You're the star of the show. You always are. And we had so much fun in the studio. It
It
was
looks
like
like a blast.
2 days of magic. We had such a great time.
Cool, I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, do the Steve hang in the bar. Yeah, my friend Steve Collum, he taught me the trick. All you have to do is just like hang out at the bar and talk to people. And you're gonna get way more out of most conferences than actually attending any of the panels.
Yeah.
I am so signing up for these conferences. Yeah, got to do it. The thing that's cool too about Taxi is that every Taxi member gets a +1. So if you just have a friend who's a Taxi member, they can bring you to the conference for free.
Yeah.
Also, I have not had too much difficulty just posting in groups, music groups, just saying, hey, does anybody have a +1?
Yeah. And once if you have co-writers in LA, you can like make it a longer trip and set up some co-writes at before or after the conference and get the biggest bang for your buck.
Yeah, line that stuff up. Cinder, you're the best. Appreciate you so much.
Oh, Cinder. She should be on here too.
She should. Well, she will be, I'm sure. Yeah, Cinder, come out next week. I'm doing this on Thursday nights. Come out and hang out with me next Thursday. We can chat about your EP and life, and talk about all the good things that are happening. Yeah. Let's see, what else? What else do we need to know about? So Songwriters Expo it's mostly feedback, connecting with people, and showcases.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about this Chicago thing. So what was like, well, if I had to pick, if there were three things that was, what was that Chicago thing?
That one, let's see. It was a great way to connect with ad agencies from Chicago. So that's really who was there presenting.
Cool.
A great way to connect with other songwriters. They had a showcase and an open mic, and that it was a really good one for beginners, I'd say.
Oh, great.
That are just learning about sync. I kind of went just because I wanted to support What Up Pitches and see some of my friends. And it was nice to connect with the ad agencies too. But a lot of the content, I already was familiar with.
So beginners content around like pitching or making music for ads, connect with Chicago area ad agencies, and just meet some people.
Yep.
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds like a fun weekend.
Yep. And someone I met at Durango who's from Indiana, he ended up going because I told him about it. So it was cool. We got to connect twice in a short period of time.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it's like you were saying, like you just meet people and then you build relationships, and then you go to the next one and, oh, I remember you from last time and all this. And it's a thing where I go to these Durango ones or whatever. And the last time I went out to the one in June, I think it was. And there were people that knew me that I couldn't even remember.
That's cool.
I was like, oh shit. Like, the music supervisor's like, I was like introducing myself. They're like, I know you already. Like not like that they were like, hey, I don't need to shake your hand. They were just more like, hey, I don't know why you're introducing yourself. I already know who you are. I'm like, I
did that.
I'm the forgetful one, It's fine. It's all awkward. The thing is, with conferences, they're awkward for everybody. So that's the good news. The good news is you can't be awkward at a conference because everybody's awkward.
That's true. Although I always get nervous when it's almost my time to present music. It's just, you're on the spot. Everyone's watching you, and you're just sitting there like bopping your head to your own songs.
It can be a little weird, right? Yeah. And then sometimes too, I've been in places, Durango and otherwise, where you're playing your stuff for people and you're like, are they really looking for music, or are they just like here to connect with each other? Or there's probably all different, the answer is probably both. And it really just depends on the person who's there across the table from you. Yeah. So everybody's a human being. They're all going to have moments where they my girlfriend just like texted me something that somebody just broke into her car and all that stuff. So they're like addressing something on their phone while they're trying to listen to your song. And then at the end, they're just like, oh, that was great. That was awesome, or whatever, it's like, but then you also get, on the flip side of that, you get people who give very good feedback, highly professional. And you also, even if you like just connect with like one or two people, it just takes so few people in the music industry to really change your career. So it's really not about the quantity of people that although that can't hurt you. It's really about the quality of the relationships you build.
Yeah. And you never know, like a lot of them will give their email address out. So then you've got a way to connect with them afterwards and do follow-up. And I found out about a sync agency right here in Cincinnati because of one of the music supervisors at Durango. She's like, hey, these people are in Cincinnati. Here's their contact info. Tell them Jenny sent you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you. So you just never know.
Yeah. All of a sudden you got a hookup.
Yep.
You weren't even looking for it.
Actually meet them for coffee.
I made a really cool friend at a taxi conference just by sitting next to somebody who was going off the deep end about, I won't talk about the specifics of the politics that they were talking about, but just completely went off the deep end. I was just getting to know them, and they just totally took things out of control. And then this person was sitting next to me, and we just started talking, and because he was kind of like goading them on a little bit with like a counterpoint. And then I ended up like just starting to talk to him, and we sat there for like 2 hours and had drinks and became friends.
That's awesome.
And that was probably the coolest connection I ever made at Taxi. Was like, I was just sitting there grabbing lunch,
That's cool.
Just be open to wherever it can happen. It can happen in any place at those conferences, because you never know who you're sitting next to, whether it's at lunch or in one of those panels or just like grabbing a drink at the bar.
Yep. Wasn't it didn't Kathy Heller have a story about a song that ended up on like iTunes? I don't know. I can't remember. Someone had and it was just because they sat in the coffee shop of a hotel and started talking.
I don't know.
I don't remember the story, but yeah, it's just you never know who you're talking to.
Yeah, it's quite possible. Anything's possible.
Yeah.
Well, this is great. This has been awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Chatting with you. Yeah. So you like this Streamlab thing?
Yeah,
not too bad, cool. Right?
I feel like it's easier than Zoom. Like, there's not as much like if you like talking over each other problems. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it feels like a proper interview, right?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, I also think it looks a lot better.
It does. It looks cool.
A little more professional.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to do with this. We're trying. Sonnet and I are trying to have like a public face to what we're doing, because it's it's great. We love our community. Our community just seems to grow. We actually finally just started doing a little bit of advertising. We're starting to dip our toe a little bit into advertising, but it's just like we just mainly like want to spread word like on different public channels of what we're doing, and figure, hey, we'll just start a little talk show here on Thursday nights, and Sonnet's doing, of course, Sonnet does a listening session on Tuesdays, and that's a Zoom call, but you can get the information on that. I'm actually going to drop the link, drop the banner here in case anybody wants the information on that. But Harmony, this has been amazing. Thank you for jumping on with me and chatting about this. Definitely go check out the information on the Durango Expo, as well as What Up Pitches. I think it's whatuppitches.com. And then the other one is it's Durango. I think it's Durango
songwritersexpo.com.
Yeah, just look up Durango Songwriters, and it should be the first thing that pops up on Google.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, thanks for having me. It was an honor.
Oh, and it was such an honor. It was my honor. I was the one honored. And I wanted to say, how can people find, what you do and find out about your music?
The best place is Instagram, I think. And it's at _harmony_G. I'll put it in the
hard to remember. It's a little
I know. Yeah.
Maybe we could get you a better Instagram handle. I'm just giving you shit.
I can't wait for that One Sheet Wonders branding thing.
Yeah, it's happening next week. Instagram reskin Harmony Guale.
You can just type my name in Instagram. It'll pop up.
Yeah, please follow Harmony. She's a very cool person. She's super cool to collaborate with. And yeah, she's just super knowledgeable about licensing too. So don't pester her with questions, but I'm sure she's super open to answering questions that you have about stuff.
Definitely. All right.
All right. Thanks for popping on.
Thank you.
All right. That was fun. All right. So the show continues. Good to see you making lots of live videos. Yeah. Great to see the live stuff, right? It's important. Got to put yourself out there. Harmony's getting a lot of love, even though there's like 15 to 20 second delay. She's already gone by the time these comments pop up, but that is the one thing that's not the best. Oh, I got interviewed by Nashville Voyager recently, and that's how I came across y'all's article too. Great. That's awesome. Yeah. Welcome to the call. Yeah, it's funny how that works, right? Like the whole Nashville Voyager thing. And then there I was like 2 or 3 days ago in the Death Star, kind of talking a little bit of shit about these like they're like, I can't remember what it was. There's the Voyager. There's like 2 or 3 of them that are like it's like it's a magazine, but it's not really a magazine. And it's like, does it really help? But honestly, like, look at that. It's connecting people together. That's awesome that you got interviewed by them. I want to read it. Send it to me. You can send us stuff. If you have questions about licensing, Sonnet and I are answering questions about licensing almost every freaking day. So if you have questions about licensing, don't hesitate to just hit us up. You can go do that at way@2indie.com. That's the email address. It's not a website. way@2indie.com. All right. So I dropped the link in for people who want feedback on their music. We're going to seg here and do a little bit of feedback on songs. So let's see who's in the queue for today. Today's today, the 13th. Okay, cool. I'm going to spin the stuff that is new, and let's jump in here and start doing some stuff. Start listening. By doing some stuff, I mean listening to some songs. All right, so we're going to start with Kate Minogue. And also, like, just want to say, like, definitely giving preference to people who are live on the call. So I see you there, Kevin, and I see you there, Anelda. And if there's anybody else who's live on the call that submitted a song, you just let me know. But we're going to kick things off with Kate Minogue. I think I may be pronouncing that correctly. This is a SoundCloud link. Let's see if this pops up. And I need you, my lovely audience, to let me know if you can hear the music that's being played, because I'm still figuring out this whole sound thing on this. But hopefully it works. It worked good last time, so hopefully we have no problems. Oh, good. Yeah. Looks like there's a lot of people here. All right, well, we're going to play through a bunch of songs. Actually, give me just 1 second. I am going to, I'll be right back. All right, and I'm back. Just had to get my my notepad. Kind of feel bare without it when I'm giving feedback on songs. I always like to, before I play a single thing, I always like to say it's just my opinion, you know, whether I give you like good feedback or, you know, whatever, however you perceive the feedback, I want you to make more music and I want you to pitch the songs that you have. You know, get out there and find out what the market is for your music, because you might find that, oh, John doesn't like this song, but this other agency does. So I'm always trying to be helpful. I've had hundreds of placements myself. I've got songs repped by like a dozen different agencies. Written probably 2,000 songs in my life, if I had to guess. Does that, I don't know. Take it for what it is. Take my feedback for what it is. And that's all I have to say. Take what you like, leave the rest, keep making more music. And without further ado, we're just going to jump right in here. This song was submitted by Kate. The song's called Probability. And let's give it a spin. Let's see here. Hang on a sec. Just working on the layout. There we go. Share screen. Chrome tab. Got it.
I got the facts and the figures straight. I'm liking the odds on the underdog. I'm aiming high for the heavens with a steady hand for the long shot. Sovereignty of a melody, it opens every more possibility. Oh, we'll just wait and see. I'm gonna defy probability. I'm gonna defy probability. What happened back then? Again and again. Turn it up and divided it. Tasted on the future, but the past doesn't want to define you. No matter how many times whenever I strike out, I keep on doing my thing, 'cause it's everything I haven't done again now. It's like love and mine. I'm chasing all the future more. The past doesn't matter.
Hey. Hey, that's interesting. I didn't get any comments in the chat, so I'm thinking that you all can hear it. Because I would think that if you couldn't hear it, you would have let me know. Can anybody let me know if you heard it? Is there any way to know when we'll get played? I just noticed you play submissions from days ago, so I'm just curious. So yeah, any way of knowing when we'll get played? First off, if you don't mind, let me know who you are so that I can look you up. I would love to play your song today. So, let's see. I see you. You submitted a track. It looks like right after the show started, it looks like. So, but we can definitely get you in today. No problem. I see you there. Okay, we heard it. Good. Yeah. I think this is cool. You know, I think when I think of like how I would categorize this, I feel like it's, especially when things kind of kicked into, I think it was that second verse where it came in, kind of reminded me a little bit of Sarah or a little bit of Ingrid. I liked it. You know, I feel that it's not particularly the most modern sounding singer-songwriter track. It feels a little throwback. And I feel that the mix on this could use a little bit of TLC. I think it's a cool song. I was having a hard time making out the vocals in parts of it. But I like the track. I think it's cool. I would be curious to know what your references are with this. When it comes to licensing, it's good to have your songs kind of fit into a genre or a category that feels like it's, you know, ideally you would like to make music that's kind of looked for often. That might not always be your thing though. If you do something in a smaller niche and you do it better than a lot of, like most people, then that's also going to give you a chance, but you might have fewer opportunities. Probability, I'm thinking about. Now, I couldn't tell from a first listen whether the song was about, it's hard to take everything in at once. You know, is the song about a relationship? Is the song about like probability in life? I just look at the title and I'm like, probability. There could be some cool potentials with that in terms of like a theme, because you're also thinking about themes when you're writing with licensing in mind. I hate it when people say writing for sync. You want to write good, authentic music. And if you're wanting your songs to get synced, it can help to keep sync in mind. But you never want to write for sync. It's a never moving target. So at the end of the day, you got to do what's right for you, and you got to make your own artistic statements with this. And then, but I think there is some cool craft happening here. There's some good, I think that the chords were a little like atypical. So there were a couple things about this song and the arrangement of it that kind of surprised me. And that's not necessarily a bad thing either. So there's some cool stuff happening here, but I do think it's like, okay, what are your references? Just moving forward, if you want to make stuff that's a little bit more, at least to me, a slam dunk, it's get the mix dialed in just a little bit better on this. And, you know, just moving forward, what are the themes? Who are the references? And then are there any decisions you would make moving forward with your production and with your songwriting to, you know, kind of account for that? But I like it. Thanks for submitting that. Appreciate it. Takes courage to put your stuff out there and have somebody give their 2 cents on it. Yeah, and I also agree with that. Kevin made a good point here. Some breaks and pauses. We like to talk about this a little bit too. With there's actually like quite a few points here that with this track that it's been nice to kind of identify. And another one of this is, you know, when you can cook it in a way that feels natural, it can be great. It can actually help you win the sync if you have what are called like kind of edit points. So these are points in the songs. They're kind of like breaks where it goes, like maybe the track goes down to nothing for a split second before the chorus kind of explodes or it kind of blooms into its fullest form. Oh, welcome back, Harmony. Harmony's now here again as a listener, I believe, or as a watcher. I don't know. Harmony's back. Harmony, you had a lot of nice comments that people were dropping in about you. I don't know if you can see the chat from earlier, but it was really fun to talk with you. Yeah, I like that suggestion, Kevin. It's a good one. Okay, so let's keep going. That was a good way to start things off. I do wish that there was a way in StreamYard to just like switch this window to another window. I actually have to close the window and then I have to do it again. It's kind of weird. I have to figure out the flow with this whole thing. It's a little, not going to lie, it's just a little bit awkward. But I don't know. I am starting to enjoy it. Starting to enjoy it quite a bit. Kate, thanks for that submission. Appreciate you. All right, so let's go and play because I see Kevin's here. Kevin, we're going to spin your track now. And then Madera, I think we're going to spin yours after that. And then perhaps Anelda. Don't hold me to this order. I'm roughly going to try to remember it. I'm just one person trying to figure all this stuff out, like any of us. Okay, so this is so 10 years ago. Okay, good to know. Good to know. It's a demo. Okay, let's give this a listen. Mixed genres. Good to know. Yeah, if there's anything also, Jen, yeah, let me see if I can find any. Is there anything in there from you? Not that I can see. I see something from you, Morton. Yeah, Jen, I don't see anything. Oh, yeah, I actually see something from like maybe it was last week. There's something called Lifetime. Was that you? Is that the song you would want me to spin? Oh, cool. I see it. All right, so Kevin's telling me this is an old one of his. Good. Just going to set this up and we'll give it a play. Here we go. Sharing the screen. And streaming the hooch. Here we go.
Chills go up your spine. Look ahead, can you see it? Yeah, do you realize that it's not that far away? Don't let life pass you by, 'cause you can make it back to where it was before. Flip away, far away.
Yeah, so cool song. I've got a couple pieces of feedback. Obviously, the track is 10 years old, so, just that's just something to take into account. It's not going to sound like a modern song. So all the feedback I'm giving is kind of from the modern marketplace and the need for music that might be like this. So my thoughts with this are, so first thing, I like the songwriting. I think the songwriting is cool. I think the mix needs a lot of work to feel like it's but also I think that if the song was redone in a more modern arrangement, it would totally work, but probably would work best as like almost like an acoustic kind of track. There's like this low kind of brooding thing that I think would be cool as like just an acoustic track with some cool, not necessarily like it obviously wouldn't blow up the way that it does in the chorus here quite so much. Heavy mix, I don't know about heavy mix. I actually was having a hard time distinguishing the things that are in the track, and I think that's part of the issue with the mix. One thing with the mix was at the very beginning and in parts, like it just felt like the mix was lopsided. So the entire like mix felt like it was kind of leaning to one side with some of the elements. So it was a little bit of a balance issue. And then some of it was also just because there were a lot of things happening and they were all, it felt like competing in a way for space in the track. It felt like nothing was really having, the drums and the bass weren't really having the impact that a heavy song like this should have. It felt like the core instruments were kind of getting buried in like kind of a wall of sound. And you're kind of seeing this in the waveform a little bit too, with just like how much of a brick it is, you know, in terms of like, not in like the song's a brick. It means more like that the waveform just looks like it's a thick band of audio, which, I mean, I remember back when I was in college, this was what I was going for all the time. So you're like loudness warrior, like, let's make this thing. And I was making rock music. So I was like, oh, I got to make this thing as loud as I can. So I'm going to be like compressing the hell out of it and really just really trashing it through the limiter without really, I mean, I didn't really know what I was doing. So, but yeah, you know, and yeah, you let them do their thing with it. That's fine. I mean, this was 10 years ago. So, yeah, it was an acoustic track it was an acoustic track, but they took it in a different direction. Yeah. Well, I think that you could do something with this. I would probably rewrite it. But you know, you don't have to do that either. You can always write another song. I mean, that's the thing too. I think back at all the songs that I could go back and I could do a different version of them and all that stuff. A lot of times it's just gonna be, you're at least I find anytime I go back and I try to redo an old song, I just feel like, you know what? As a human being, I'm just in a totally different place. And I don't, in an important way, I don't really relate to the song anymore. Because we changed so much. You know, did you know that on a cellular level, there's not a cell in our body that's the same as it was 7 years ago? Our entire body completely changes in 7 years. Every single cell in our body regenerates or changes out. So I think in a way, musically, it's like we're not the same. We're literally not the same person. So it doesn't surprise me when I think about all the times I'd like to go dig something up from the past and see what I might be able to do with it. Do I think that there's a large market for this kind of music like right now in licensing? I don't really see it. I'd probably also, it would need to feel like it was a little more competitive in terms of the mix. Quality is just really hard to make everything out with this, but it's a cool track. And I think that it demonstrates some songwriting talent. And is that you singing? I don't know if that's you singing, but cool voice, whoever the singer was. I wanted to re-record and arrange it. Nice. We'll do it if you want to. All right. That was cool. So Jen says, oh, okay, more of an artist from a couple years ago. Wondering if it could work for licensing. Thanks for submitting that, Kevin. Yeah, cool. That's a cool. It's a cool thing to throw on the reel in terms of your writing. And I'm excited to see what you do next. Let's see who's up next. On the subject of next, who's up? Let me make sure I mark this off. Definitely going to go overtime today. Cause it's my goal with this I'm trying to like pace myself. I'm trying to like get into a flow where every Thursday night I'm at least spending a couple hours doing this. So, I don't know how long I'll go today, but I'm just going to keep going until I'm not feeling it anymore. But I want to give some more feedback on music. Cause that's a big part of why we're here, to get better. And it helps me. Honestly, like doing this, it helps me too, because I get inspired by hearing all your music. And Madera, we're going to do your track next. So this is a mixed and mastered track. It looks like it's on YouTube. Let me just pause it before it auto plays. Okay, got it. Oh, thought I had it anyways. All right, cool. This is hip hop. Looks like it was released pretty recently. Dope. So is this something I see with the 85 BPMs? Is this something you're looking to get top lined, or what are you looking for with this? If you do have anything you'd like to say to set it up, feel free to drop that in the chat. Always helps me when I'm listening to stuff. Let's see who's up next. Oh, we already know. It is Madera. So if you hear Madera, please drop it in the chat. I know there's a little bit of a delay, but I'm going to pull it up right now. We're going to play it. Share the screen. Here we go. Got it.
Some material may be inappropriate for children under 13.
Yeah, I dig this a lot. I feel like this is very cool. So I have a couple suggestions. I mean, it looks like this is something you've released, so obviously take it with a grain of salt. You're not necessarily going to go back and redo any production or anything like that. But I'm curious about your goals. Are you looking for artists to like top line your stuff for artist releases, or are you open to collaborations for sync? Do you completely own the samples that you're using in this track? These are some questions that I have for you in terms of like, especially that it's not a vocal, but the audio at the beginning is talking about like it's for ages 13 and up or something like that. Was that something that you recorded, or is that something that you pulled off a splice, or where'd you grab that? Open to all, no samples used. That's very cool. So if you have this skill set, this is really dope, because there's a lot of people. I think there's a couple things I would suggest. One thing, I think the guitar is a nice touch. Is that you playing the guitar? If so, very cool. I might grunge up that sound just a hair. It felt a little tame, just a hair tame for me. And when I'm saying like grunge it up, just maybe, I'm not talking about like grunge it from like the 90s or something like that, but just dirty it up just a little bit. I think give it like maybe 2 or 3% more bite maybe. And then the other thing I was going to suggest was, because you can lo-fi that out just a little bit more. RC20 is like my favorite plugin on earth right now. And you could just slap RC20 on that thing, select through the presets, and find something that's going to give it a little bit of that kind of that lo-fi kind of grit. Friend on guitar riff. All right, nice. So the thing I would say too with that lick, there's a arpeggiated guitar lick that comes in. It's kind of the main lick. There's one note on there that feels like it's a little out of the pocket, and it feels like it's a little weird on the tuning. And it kind of, I mean, having something that's a little weird, having something that I call it like putting a little stank on it, like having something that just kind of sticks out in some kind of way, it draws attention to itself for whatever reason, good or bad. It's hard to say. In the context of like a song that has vocals over the top, we don't know how it would fit in, but because it's just an instrumental right now, for me, it kind of stuck out in like I didn't absolutely love that kind of way, because everything else was really cool. Everything else felt really glued together. What was the other thing? Oh, levels. So this is especially going to be important if you're targeting ads, you're targeting licensing. You're going to want scene changes in your tracks. And when I'm talking about scene changes, I'm talking about like levels. I'm talking about dynamics. And I was scanning. You saw I was like scanning through the song after I kind of got the main vibe. I think it's great. I think this is super top lineable. I think there's a bunch of people in our 2 indie community that would be interested in working with you, for sure. If you can make beats like this, very cool. Especially if there's no samples used, amazing. Because then you can fully say I can license this, without anybody saying, hey, did you grab this from Slice or whatever? Splice is usually fine. There's only some cases. I don't have like a half hour to have a conversation about that, but I think it's a really great asset that you can do this. But yeah, one of the things you're definitely going to want is, and when I'm talking about levels, there's opportunity here to make the track bigger. And how do you do that? Like, it's like synths. It's doing the references and digging into some references, seeing how in this genre of music, how are other artists making tracks like this bigger? EQ, not quite so much, although EQ can help. There's ways to like, actually a very cool mix technique is to kind of make your mix kind of not as bassy in the versy parts. And then you kind of really open up the low end when the chorus kicks in. I mean, it doesn't have to be even that dramatic too. Sometimes even subtle differences can make a difference with the EQ. But what I'm talking about mainly when I'm talking about levels is talking about like the arrangement. How big is the arrangement? I think that this could get bigger. And fortunately, it's a cool track already, so it wouldn't be that hard to add to it. And of course, as you're going out there, and if you're collaborating with people, I think the main pushback you're going to start to get once people start top lining your stuff is, how can we make this bigger? Because here's the thing, if a music supervisor likes level 1, so level 1's like your first chorus, right? You might feel like it's big, it's going off, right? If they like level 1, they want to know what level 2 is, and they want to know what level 5 is. So level 5 is kind of like that's like your kitchen sink level. And I didn't really get that listening through this. It felt like a little copy pasty, in terms of the sections. I didn't feel like it got bigger in any kind of way. Although it was cool here. You got like in this, I don't know if this is a representation of the waveform of the track visually, or if this is just part of your logo. But by the way, I don't think anybody can tell when I'm when I'm using my mouse cursor. I don't think y'all can see my mouse cursor. But I'm like basically moving the mouse cursor above that little waveform that's above Madeira music. And because you see that big part where there's a peak, like you want to have like parts in your song that feel like there's more variation. And when I'm talking about those levels, it's like you want level 1, you want level 2, you want level 5. You want that kitchen sink moment at the end. If the track calls for it, not every track needs to have that big of a dynamic. But, a lot of times they're looking for scene changes. They're looking for big, dramatic swings depicted on screen. And how do we do that with the music? We're going to have big, dramatic things happening in the music. So that's my feedback. I like your talent. It's really cool stuff. All right. Just digging through comments here. Can I go? My track timelines. Oh, sick. Yeah, I'll play it. I'll do it now. It's always going to be a little hard to, because I know there's a lot of folks on the call, and it's never the case where we're going to be able to play everything every single time. But I always do try to do my best to, let's see, timelines. Got it. I do try to do my best. That's all I can do. Is it easier to pitch to movies or adverts? One thing I would suggest is easier to pitch to movies. Probably what really just depends on kind of music you make and the connections you have. But one thing I would definitely suggest is getting our boot camp. So I'm going to drop the link in here so that people can, if you haven't already checked out our boot camp, totally free. 90 minutes. We re-recorded it last week. We had so much fun doing it. Before it was just me. And now it's got me and Sonnet on it. And we really go through in 90 minutes. We give you all the foundation around all this stuff. I think a lot of that question will be answered. But the quick answer is that it really just depends on what kind of music you make and who's pitching it and who they're pitching it to. But definitely get that foundation because it's really important. Watching this while I get my treatment done. I'm learning so much. Oh, I'm glad to hear that. What's your treatment? If you don't mind me asking. Cinder knows. Cinder's incredibly knowledgeable about licensing. She just landed, how many placements do you have now? She just landed one. She broke the news to us today about it. Landed a really cool one with, I don't know if I can share who it's with, but it's with a TV show that everybody would know. All right, so let's keep playing. Rachel, we're going to play your track now. This is called Timelines. So you're looking for sync rep, and you're kind of wondering like how this lands, I'm guessing. I don't totally disagree with you. I don't totally disagree with you there. Actually, there's some very interesting developments in AI that are happening right now that I've even started dipping my toe into. It's very fascinating stuff. And maybe we can do a deep dive on this in like one of these weeks. I think it'd be really fun to do. But I think there's always going to be a place for musicians, even if the tools that they use are artificial. Or the you're collaborating. So instead of collaborating with another human being, you're collaborating with a computer. You're collaborating with an AI. It's just an intelligence. The intelligence could create its own stuff, but I do agree. I don't dislike that take. I don't think that we're going to be irrelevant, though. I think we're always going to have a place in this. All right. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. We'll give you feedback. You should connect with Cinder, by the way. If you haven't connected with Cinder yet, you should do it. I don't know if Cinder, if you want to drop your, if you feel comfortable dropping your Instagram handle or anything in there into the chat, or some way for Boy Scout Gatsby to connect with you. But sending healing thoughts your way. Cinder's in chemo right now too. Can't make soul music with no soul. But what if it's an artificial soul? They just have to make an artificial soul. Then you can make soul music artificially. Prayers up for everybody. Yeah, totally. There's so many sweet people in this community. Harmony, who was had a really fun time chatting with a little earlier, is an oncology nurse. All right, let's give this track a spin. Thanks for your patience, Rachel. Here we go.
Step 1, get a degree. Step 2, find a good job. Step 3, make bank. Step 4, fall in love. I thought I had it all together and figured out by 25, but I'm already drowning so early in my life. With my car from 1999 and my clothes out of season, my roots are all grown now. I can't believe I'm peeking. Keep staring at people's lives online, comparing their sunsets to my sunrise. And I know, deep inside, we've all got our own timelines. With my car from 1999 and my clothes out of season, my roots are all grown now. I can't believe I'm peeking. Keep staring at people's lives online, comparing their sunsets to my sunrise. And I know, deep inside, sunrise. And I know, deep inside, we've all got our own timelines. We all got our own timelines.
Cool. Yeah, that's great. So it's got a little bit of a country vibe with it towards the end, which, for better or for worse, country has yet to infiltrate hard on licensing, aside from Yellowstone 1883, that kind of country music. But there's always, I say that, and I actually helped connect the dots on a couple of country songs this year on an independent film. So This is a cool track. I like it a lot. I love some of the lyrics. With my car from 1999 and my clothes out of season, I love the lyrics. I think the lyrics are smart. I wanted a little more attitude in the vocal, not the vocal itself, but it could, perhaps with the vocal performance, you could have given a little bit more attitude, but I think you could have gotten a similar effect, or at least gotten there a little bit more with just maybe a little bit more. What I'm trying to say is just a little bit of trash on the vocal effects, I think, to kind of match the kind of aggressive sound that's going on behind it. I'm curious what your references are in terms of the tone of this rock music, in terms of this song, because this song itself kind of takes me back to like I'm not sure exactly what I'm trying to put my finger on exactly where I'm hearing this rock sound from, but it's from, I think it's a little bit around my college years. There were some bands that this kind of reminds me of. I don't know. There's definitely some, but I feel like there's an aggressiveness to this. I like the hooks on it. I feel that, like with a couple other tracks that we talked about today, if you cooked in some edit points on this, it would probably make it easier to use. Verse 2 has some vocal changes. Cool. Here's the thing with this. I'm super generous when it comes to spinning tracks. Your average music industry decision maker is probably going to listen to your song for 3 or 4 seconds before they decide they want to listen anymore. And they're going to be skipping around. It takes them so little time to know if what they're listening to is what they want to listen to. So I would say if there's a part of the song, I saw your comment there where you're like, oh, the best part is the bridge. It sucks. But if there's something that's like really the best part of the song, it might be a better thing to do arrangement wise to put it at the beginning of the song. Good to know. I'm new to this. No, but it's totally understandable. Like it was my reaction too. I was like, because I would watch people sometimes it's like, oh, you're only listening to like 5 seconds of this before you're making a comment. Like it's kind of interesting. Right. So this is where like my producer writer brain is like, well, if the best part of the song is halfway through the song, why don't we front load the best part of the song first and make that like a key part that gets repeated, So that's a songwriting / arrangement thing that sometimes comes up, but it's definitely not the only time I've heard the bridge is the best part. The bridge, this is a very controversial thing, I'm sure, to many of you, but in my professional opinion, the bridge with some things where it's like the song would not be the same without it. Obviously, there's some epic bridges in songs that I love. It's the least important part of the song, though. It's the least important part of the song in terms of like, is this something that's going to land a sync? Because most of the time, supervisors, agencies, they never listen to it. They don't know where to go to listen to it. They're looking for the places in the waveform. They're like, oh, okay, that looks like a cool place. So I guess visually, if they see like a big drop off, if it's big and then it drops to nothing during the bridge and it kind of builds up, they'd be like, oh, there might be something cool there for me to go to. So there's a lot of when people are scanning through songs, they're looking at the waveform. One thing I am seeing here, it does look a little brickish. So you do see some definition of the different sections, but you're not seeing massive swings in fullness. So that's another thing I might suggest is there's probably some ways, addition by subtraction in arrangements that you do in the future, where you have some parts of the song where maybe it's just drums and vocals, or maybe it's just guitars and vocals, and it's kind of thinned out, and then everything kind of goes off. But yeah, I totally, yeah, I felt that's totally what I was hearing. I was totally hearing Veruca Salt. Yes. By the way, I'm doing a freaking terrible job of putting the chat up because I guess I have a lot to say about this. But you are putting into my mouth the references that I was trying to put my finger on. So do all sync songs need to be good at the beginning and then just plateau from there? Well, I think people do like to see something build into something special, obviously, right? That's the ideal. What you don't want is for somebody to press play and be bored. I'm not saying I can't remember what the intro is of your song, so I don't know whether this applies to you. I didn't notice that your intro was boring, but there are many times where I listen to a song and the intro is like 45 seconds long and really nothing happens. And I'm like, that really didn't go anywhere. You know what I mean? So it's like, I think that no matter how fast you get there, you're probably going to want to get there faster than later. You know, it's totally possible to get there. If you can get there in 30 or 40 seconds, that'd probably be a pretty good build for a lot of people, but it really just depends on the genre of music. You know, no matter what, if you have an intro, there needs to be a reason it's there. It's got to build up and be interesting. But then also sometimes I say all of this, and then sometimes the rules of sync kind of act contradictory to themselves. There's going to be times where having a 2-minute intro at the beginning of your song is going to be perfect because it's exactly what they need. They need something that goes from almost nothing to just a little bit more than that and builds in like a very slow way. And there's bands that do that. There's bands that I can't remember the name of the band. It's frick. Why am I not like remembering the name of this band that has like they're like 8-minute songs and it feels like they just go on for forever. And it's all instrumental stuff, but it's really gorgeous. I can't remember it off the top of my head for some reason, but so there's all different needs. You have to remember the need is really what is needed by the picture. You know, what story is being told and how is your music going to amplify what's happening on screen and not draw overt attention to itself just as a song. So I think this track has a lot of attitude. It's cool. And I just think that I would think with like timelines, how's timelines work for licensing? Keep staring at people's lives online, comparing their sunsets to my sunrise when I know. So one thing I would say is that a lot of times with modern taste in songwriting, a lot of times like simpler concepts in the chorus are probably going to be easier choruses to complement what's happening on screen because it's going to take fewer words to be conveyed in order for somebody to understand what's happening is another piece of feedback I might give. I accidentally pressed the crickets button. So I don't know if you can hear crickets, but it's because I accidentally pressed the button. But Kevin, thanks everybody. Gotta go. Good to see you, Kevin. Glad you're a part of the community. I guess catchy. Oh, so you want catchy. So do all songs need to be catchy at the beginning and then plateau? Well, I would think that like all songs just need to, but then it's like, I feel like such a dick just even saying like all songs need to be catchy or good all the way through. It's like, you know, art isn't necessarily good, you know, and nor should it be, you know, the quality of good. Like how can somebody, I can't define what good is. Everybody has an opinion of what good is, but you got to keep in mind the people that are making the decisions, they have their own notions of what tends to work best to picture. So what you can do is try to reverse engineer what you feel they might need and keep that in mind while you're writing and you're producing. That's what Sonnet and I really are advocates of. So yeah, those crickets were not for you. It's probably for me to shut the fuck up. You know, I've been talking for a lot here. But I will just drop, again, I'm going to drop this base camp link in, not base camp, but boot camp. We have a boot camp. We also do have a base camp. That's a private community that we run. It's really fun. And everybody's invited to that as well. You can get 30 days of base camp for free, but this boot camp is totally free. It's 90 minutes, and I would suggest checking it out because we go over a lot of this stuff, not only with the songwriting, but also with the production. Yes, we're going to play your song next. I apologize, Boy Scout Gatsby. I'm not sure. Let me see if I can find this. What is your name? I feel like such a jerk asking, but I don't see. I can't match Boy Scout Gatsby to what's in the submissions here. Thanks for that submission, Rachel. So appreciate it. Jackson Reeves. Okay, Jackson Reeves. Let's give Jackson Reeves a round of applause here. Everybody, send him some good healing energy. Going through some chemo treatments. Can't even imagine what that's like. My grandma, she passed away. She had cancer pretty much her entire lower abdomen, and it's really sad. Cancer is just like such a jerk. Talk about jerks. Talk about assholes. Cancer, what an asshole. All right. Let's give this a spin. Rolls Royce, YouTube track. Let me just get this queued up. Cool. Let's do this.
Baby, I'm a star, like the ceiling on the Rolls Royce. Yeah. Look at my nigga, look like the Milky Way. Baby, we ain't the same. If I don't make it this way, might as well just fade away. I'm like Da Vinci, except that I flow on these 808s. Yeah, you paper chase, can't relate my paper pace. Right, I had to work what I got. You got handed what you had. I go pay my first check. I spent $1 on my dad. Chinese food in the biggest purchase. $100 and I know worth it just to see him meet. I'm trying to see him face. Man, shit. They text me like out of the blue. No, they ain't touching, I pick up the clues. They wanna talk, but I know about the truth. Mama told me put my money where my mouth is. I'm trying to make enough to buy her houses. Yeah, I review. Tell me nice with plenty sunshine. She can sit and watch the sunshine. Keep on living for the baseline. Slowly learning I can buy time. Working that's why I don't waste mine. Okay. Look, there he is. You good? You good? Bro, you smell from space. I saw sitting on the road. I always knew that I was doing my word. I made the bullshit. Yeah.
Hey, congratulations, by the way. I mean, this premiered 5 hours ago. That's pretty crazy. What a pleasure it is to like be part of the, I guess, like the day that this thing released on video. Very cool. This is such a cool track. Sorry for the skits that threw out. No, it's great. There's real craft here. This is awesome. This is really, you should be super proud of this. I love it. I'm saving this and I'm going to go back and listen to the whole thing when I'm done. I really like the track. I love the video. Video's fun. Like, this is great. Yeah, the video could not have been cheap to produce. That's not a, I agree. It looks great. The song sounds amazing. And I think that what you're doing is very cool. You know, in terms of licensing, it's hard if your song is called Rolls Royce for anybody but Rolls Royce to really use the track. There is also like some curse words. You know, it's not a big deal. Like, you can always make a clean version. You probably have a clean version of it if somebody wanted to use it. But the track itself is really cool. I feel like the track itself the instrumental could be used for ads. It definitely, this sounds super pro to me. I love it. I feel like your skill set, if you just started to learn a little bit about what's needed right now, because there's a lot of need in the urban space. Like all kinds of urban tracks are being used all the time in licensing. So the people that are involved in this is done at a high level. I think this is great. You did this on a budget of $3,000 Australian. That's crazy, man. That is crazy. Yeah, well. You should be teaching people how to make music videos. It would cost that much just to rent the car for the shot here in Seattle, right? I love this. I'm so happy that you're here. And, again, congratulations. This is a cool track. I think that your skills you have a lot of skills. Is this you rapping on this? Like, what was your role in this project? I want to know. Let me know what your role with this is. I think if you connect with some other people in the urban space that are in licensing, you'll make some stuff that but I think there's already a demand for, like, I bet you could pitch this track for stuff. They probably wouldn't use the vocal ups, but there's all kinds of like cool, like stuff that's going on in the beginning of the song that you can't really make it out too well. All that stuff. We link up with local university students who are doing film. They get a final assignment piece. We get a video. Bam. That's being smart right there. Oh yeah. Hell yeah. You're already doing it. So do you have an agency that reps you? Or did you land that? How did they find you? I'm curious. Did you pitch for that, or did they go to you? Sick. You've got a lot of talent. That's you rapping. I know for a fact there's a bunch of people in our 2indie community that would want to collaborate with you on stuff. You should join our base camp. JD hits artists and gives them sneakers and clothes in return for repping them on Instagram. Oh, that's cool. So you have direct connection with the company. That's sick. Well, I think if you that's already sick. And obviously that's a connection that, hopefully you can do more cool stuff with them in the future. But there's agencies out there that need music like this to pitch to, not just directly to companies. A lot of these agencies work with ad agencies. The rep companies work with ad agencies. They work with music supervisors to put stuff into film and TV. There's a whole rabbit hole of that. Get some professional representation for your songs could make a difference. But you're doing great. This is cool. I don't know. There's nothing else to say, really. I'm very impressed. And it didn't surprise me at all. Notice I wasn't shocked that this was it's already been used in an ad. Like, not this particular track. It sounds like the one before that. But if what you're doing is consistently at this clip in terms of quality, at this clip in terms of quality, you've got a great, great career in sync ahead. That's my thoughts. You got a dip. All right, good luck. Thanks for popping on, Rachel. I really liked the track. It's very unique. I forgot to say that for right now, that track that you submitted, I feel like it's a sound that people haven't heard in a while. And if you harness that, there's definitely something there. And but I appreciate you hopping on here. Cool. Well, Jackson, really hope the treatments do the job. Fuck cancer. And if you feel like it, connect with Cinder and with Harmony. They're both really nice people. Love it. Well, that feels good. All right, I'm going to play two more songs. Let's get, because Jen's been waiting. I don't know if Jen's still here. Hopefully Jen's still here. That last song was just super made for ads. Interesting. Yeah, I think next time, it instead of being super specific with like a brand, it's more talking about themes. Like, there's different themes that you can use that are ad friendly. It might be better in the future if you really are like trying to keep that in mind first and foremost. It's just like anytime you put a specific brand name in, then it's either like, oh, that brand needs to use it, which who knows? I mean, if you get a Rolls-Royce commercial, that would be pretty sick, right? I mean, that's not impossible. I wouldn't imagine. I can't remember the last Rolls-Royce commercial I saw, but maybe they have them over in Australia. But yeah, there's ways to write that still feels authentic, it still feels cool, but could also work for not just cars, but could work for sports or could work for deodorant. You know what I mean? Like, just different products that have this kind of swagger, this kind of, this attitude. Yeah, for sure, man. That'd probably be a pretty good gig. I hope you get it. I really do. All right, Jen, we're going to play your track now. Did we play this? I think there was just another song. Oh, no, there was a song that was called Timelines. This one's Lifeline. There's one that was Timelines. This one's Lifetime. Okay. They're different songs. Cool. We're going to play your track right now. Pop Robot Productions. I love your branding here. All right, we're going to do 2 more songs. This is one of them. Then I'm kind of running out of gas. Actually, I really wanted to go. I have so much. You know what? Maybe next week, probably not next week, but maybe next week or the week after, I'm going to do one show where there's no listening. I'm just going to be it's all going to be music industry news, because there's so much stuff I want to catch up on myself that I think would be really valuable for everybody to know about here too in this community. So I definitely want to do that. But there's not going to really be any time for that today. We actually went through a little bit of that with Harmony. It was great to break down the Durango Songwriters Expo. Go to get your taxi tickets, I think is the thing right now. Get your taxi tickets. Okay. Let me pull this up. I'm starting to get the hang of this. We wrote this a few years ago and wondered if it would work for licensing. It's a rough demo. Okay, cool. Let's check it out. I like your branding.
Day by day, trying to get back on my feet. It's only getting harder to make ends meet. One by one, your choices get revealed. The future is uncertain, but our fate is sealed. We only get a lifetime. We only get a lifetime. We only get a lifetime. On my own, holding it all intact. On my way, nothing can hold me back. Finding time, we on my own time. We on
Boy Scout Gatsby getting more love. Yeah, great track. So Jen, I think this is cool. This is one thing where I'm having a little difficulty figuring out what's the bucket I put this in. Like, I think that's like one of the things that music supervisors, ad agencies, they're always thinking this when they hear something. They're like, what does this sound like to me? Or is this doing something completely different that I've ever heard before? Sorry, my words are kind of tripping up a little bit. It's getting a little late for me. I'm still a little bit, I'm a bit behind on sleep today. But so is this doing either of those? It's really kind of hard for me to figure out, like in the modern genres, where this fits in. It feels it's a little bit of a dated guitar sound, a little bit dated of a synth sound. And then the other thing with this is, like, I'm not hearing something here that's like kind of taking me back in terms of like, I'm like, whoa, this is something I haven't heard before. It feels like kind of like a straightforward rock track. I feel like there's some level. I'm not really getting a lot of levels. You're seeing like the waveform. It's got kind of that brick kind of quality to it. It's kind of the same. I was fast forwarding, going backwards. It doesn't really seem to change the dynamics with it. So, there's a demo state. So it's like, it's all stuff just to consider if you are pitching this for sync. This track could land a license as it is. It depends on if they're looking for this particular kind of rock music. This is feels like a very specific kind of rock music that they need. It feels like it maybe belongs in a different era, but it doesn't really sound like it was recorded in a past era. So that's where it can get a little tricky as well, because a lot of times they're looking for like some 90s or 2000s I don't know. I'm not exactly sure where I would categorize this rock sound. It feels like it's a little bit of a hybrid, but it feels like it was recorded recently. It feels very clean, feels very like the quality of the production is good in terms of the cleanliness of the cleanliness, just how clean and impactful it's all kind of coming across. Yeah, it does feel a little like Blondie, right? I wondered if the lyrics could be relatable, like Overcoming and YOLO. Is YOLO in the lyrics here? Where is it? We only get one lifetime. We only get a lifetime. I don't see You Only Live Once in here. I mean, YOLO is always going to be a theme, right? It's always going to be a thing. Seize the day. The ultimate, like, YOLO is just in like seize the day, right? Be here now, enjoy the present, I think that's what it comes. So it's a good theme theoretically for licensing, but are they looking for this particular kind of rock music for, like, what shows are using this? What ads are using this particular kind of rock music? I'm having a hard time kind of saying, oh, I would hear this here or I would hear that here. So, that could point to what are your references for the track? And but it really goes back to like the research too, like what shows, if you are keeping sync in mind, if you want to land licenses and you're trying to be intentional about that, how are you kind of steering what you're doing artistically so that it not only checks off what feels good to you, but it also checks off some of the boxes that they're looking for in terms of, oh, it's got this kind of guitar sound. It's got this kind of a vocal styling that reminds people and feels like it could be in the playlist with these other songs that are hot now that people are looking for, No, just you only get a lifetime. The concept of doing all you can because life is short. Yeah. I mean, it's a, like I said, it's a common theme. It's something, but there's many ways you can say it, right? So yeah, I think it's a good theme. It's something that certainly you see a lot of music. I have quite a few songs that are about like, that basically say this, but in a different word with different words and a different attitude, different production, different songs, The vibe should match the lyrics and vocal delivery. I mean, absolutely. But I would say like more than that, well, also yes to that, but also the production should be done in a style. If you are targeting licensing, it's good to keep what is working right now in licensing in mind, unless you want to do something that's really niche, I think she means you only get a lifetime lyric is synonymous with YOLO. Yeah, I'm sorry. Maybe I'm misunderstanding. Like I said, my brain's a little fried right now. So if there's some wire that I miscrossed there, I'm just saying it's a good theme. It's a good theme, and you only get a lifetime. I don't know. I mean, that's not what you only live once is what YOLO is, but it's the same thing, I think. You only get one lifetime, right? You only get a lifetime is one lifetime. You only live once. You get one opportunity to do it, right? So to me, it's like potato, potato, right? Tomato, tomato. But that's just my opinion. Yeah. What else? Was there anything else I wanted to say with this? I think like, in terms of the vocal stylings, there's other things I could say. I think that with this track as a demo, if you really wanted to pursue this further, I would see if there's some way, something that's cool that's happening in rock right now that you could get behind in terms of like a different style of the production with it. You may have more success, but you may not. There's no guarantees with any of this stuff. But I do think that, like I said, it's hard for me listening to this the first time to think, oh, this would work perfect for this, because it just doesn't feel like it's something that's commonly asked for, from what I've seen. And I see a lot of briefs. And we also in our licensing base camp, we get briefs from our partner agencies every month, and some of them are rock briefs, but they're not asking for this kind of rock music. They're asking for more more indie rock. They're looking for, sometimes they're looking for heavier rock or elements like trailerized songs that have rock in them. So it's a lot of different types of rock that is asked for. And obviously libraries love rock music. There's tons of YouTube channels that use rock music. There's lots of places you can make rock music and put it up on royalty free sites and stuff. And you can make money doing that because people need stuff for YouTube content or whatever. So rock is definitely not dead in licensing, but this particular type of rock, again, I don't hear the, it's hard for me to just say this would work for this or this, but then again, anything's licensable. Find out what the market is for it. That's what I would say too. We can speculate, we can talk about this, but the way that you find out what the market is for a song is by pushing it out there. If you send this song to 5 agencies and nobody takes it, it's probably not something they're looking for, Okay, we're going to play one more track. Let's see who's up. Morton, I think Anelda, I see you submitted a track. I may play 2 more because I know you're both here. But I'm gonna try to make these quick because I'm really running out of gas here. But this has been fun. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Again, my name's John Clinebell. I'm the co-founder of 2 Indie with Sonnet Simmons, and we run a fun company that's our whole thing is we want to help indies get the wins, So we teach about music licensing. We teach about artist branding. We're doing a whole series next week. We're doing a 5-day challenge that's all about artist branding. So if you've ever thought to yourself, is there a better way for me to talk about what it is that I do? Can I make a better visual impression upon my audience? Am I having a hard time connecting to my audience because I'm not saying what I need to say loudly and clearly enough? And there's a disconnect there. Come join us. It's going to be 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, Monday through Friday. And you can find all the information at onesheetwonders.com. Thanks, Amy. Thanks for popping by. Really appreciate it. Oh, Amy, we'll get you next time. I see you submitted a track. We'll get to you next time, I promise. Appreciate you being here. Unfortunately, it's like it just takes time to get through the list of songs. As we found with our syncathon, we did a 24-hour syncathon where all we did was listening to music for like 24 hours straight. It was crazy. And we still didn't get through all the songs. There was still like a couple hundred songs that were left at the end of 24 hours in a row of listening to music. All right, so Morton Leo Matheson, you are up next. The song's called I'm Coming Home. Let's give this a quick spin. Apologize, I'm not going to be able to talk too long about this, but I'm going to give it a spin here and give you some feedback. This is awesome. Your attitude is amazing, Amy. And I've found this to be so true that you can learn so much just by hearing other people's stuff. Absolutely. Love your attitude, though. It's a winning attitude. All right, this song's called I'm Coming Home, and I'm going to give it a spin right now. Very cool. It kind of reminds me of Ozzy, honestly. I feel the mix needs work. And also the drums. I like this song. I think it's cool. I think the church organ is a nice touch. I would probably RC20 that thing, just get it tucked back just a little bit more. Because I think it's cool as a vibe, but it kind of dominates a little bit just in my personal preference. As a producer, I feel that the drums are a little out of time in a couple of places, and I wonder if part of that has to do with the fact that this feels like it's dragging just a little bit. In the pre-production, I probably would have experimented with speeding it up maybe 2 or 3 BPM and see if it feels like it's kind of propelling forward a little better, because it kind of feels like it lurches just a little bit, and I feel like there's a couple things that get a little stumbly with the drums, for lack of better ways of. I'm not a technical. I don't have any music theory, but I know what I'm trying to say. That's all I know. I know what I'm trying to say. There were a couple of places where it felt like the drums were just a little bit out of time, which can be cool, but it didn't feel like it was necessarily intentional there. What else? I feel the guitars. That's what kind of reminds me, and that plus the vocal. It kind of gives me like kind of a throwback vibe, but I think like even with that, you could still, I feel like if you had a better mix of this, it will come across a little better. And I do feel that like the lead up to it, I feel like there's probably some stuff here production wise. It feels a little empty in terms of the build for me. So yeah, I feel like when you get to that bigger place, it's you've got some dynamics here. You got some scene changes. I'm seeing some editing points. I'm seeing a lot of stuff that I like here. So you're doing a lot of cool stuff. I just feel that it's there's some issues with the mix, and I feel like there is more room. There's room for more production on this to kind of. And I feel like one of the things too is with the transitions too with the drums. The drums do feel a little like they're on a loop, as opposed to like building up. There should be some parts in rock songs. Most rock songs that I listen to that have energy, they have moments where the drums kind of aren't just doing the same thing, and it kind of builds up to a point, and then it kind of takes off in some kind of way, or it comes back to a main groove. But there's a point where there's like a transition and the drums aren't exactly the same. So it did feel like to me that the drums were kind of too similar throughout a lot of this track as well. It's just another piece of feedback. Again, just take all my feedback as just one person's opinion, Take what you like, leave the rest. I think it's a cool start to something. I do think that there's probably some, I'm hearing from what I hear. I'm not a big like modern rock guy, so it's like I don't know the bands that are doing this kind of thing right now, but I'm sure that there are bands. Like when I was throwing out Ozzy as like a reference, I'm sure there's bands right now that are doing super cool stuff that would say that like, oh, who are your influences? Ozzy, So it's like, who are those bands? What are they doing? And, just do the research on that. Find out like what cool heavier rock with like, I like your vocal tone too. I don't know if that's you singing, but I think your vocal tone is cool. I would definitely play around like as you make the tracks bigger and as you continue to dial your sound in and get your mix better, you'll find more intricacies in the voice too, and how to kind of fit that into the pocket of your mix so that it feels really satisfying. So a lot of cool potential here. All right. Apologize, everybody. I only got one more song left in me. It's been fun, though. I didn't know how long this one was going to last. We've been going for like 2 hours. Crazy, right? Let's do this, though. Let's play one more song, and then we'll close things out. Again, I'm John Clinebell. I'm a songwriter, producer. I've had hundreds of placements, films, TV, ads, and different other media. Podcasts in store. I love teaching about this stuff. It's so fun. I love listening to, honestly, it's a little selfish, but I just love listening to music too. So this gives me a great excuse to just listen to music. And we're going to listen to this track by Anelda, which based on her past work, I would have to say is probably going to be amazing. But let's see. Here we go, Anelda. So appreciate you. Thanks for your patience. Hung in there. Cool to close this out. All right, let's go. The Dead Man's Dance. Here we go.
Took my sins down to the river, tried to set them free. They must have been scared of swimming, 'cause they held on to me. My words have hurt, my loves didn't mean it. They watched the spreading rust, didn't feel it. You say I should stay, dig a little deeper, try a little harder, but I feel the pull, taking me down to the bottom of my lonely grave. Taking me down to the bottom of my lonely grave. Blood on the rafters, I see blood on my hands. I know I gotta give up. This dead man's dance. This dead man's dance. This dead man.
Yeah, as always, really impressive stuff. Production's great on this. Songwriting's awesome. For me, I wished when the pre-chorus kicked in and then the chorus kicked in, I wish there was a little bit more of a jump up in the dynamics with it. I felt like there was some of that stuff was coming in later on in the song, but I was kind of wondering why you saved it for the second go round versus giving, some of that up front, like more vocal stacks. Like mostly for me, at least the first chorus and pre-chorus, it was like more vocal interest, whether it's a harmony or stacks of stuff. But you have some cool stuff that's going on further on in the song. Makes me wonder if you took some of those elements, put them in that first and second, or that first pre-chorus and chorus, it might force you to then find a way to make the very last parts bigger, even bigger. But I feel like this song is definitely licensable. I think it is a niche. There isn't it definitely is more of a country kind of song. So there's good, but it feels like it could be like a Yellowstone, like 1883 kind of track. So I feel like there's definitely going to be interest in, I don't really see that there's never going to be a need for tracks like this. I feel like this kind of music, there's probably going to be more need for it. Just because those two shows in particular have been such hits. There's probably gonna be more shows looking to do kind of similar things, similar sounds. Totally, it's an old one we want to rework, so the feedback is useful. Yeah, for me, it's like it's dynamics, it's dynamics with this one. But I think you've got obviously great musicianship, vocals are killer, lyrics are good. It's a good song. Wasn't surprised. I was not surprised. Oh yeah. Sometimes I forget. I got to highlight the comments so people know what I'm addressing. If we do decide in the future to pick like one channel, that is one thing that'll be kind of fun with it. Like if we decide to go to Twitch, then I'll just be like, directly, everybody will be able to, we'll figure out a way to put a widget up on screen so that people can see everybody else's, comments and stuff like that. Because right now we're broadcasting live to YouTube, we're broadcasting to Twitch, and we're broadcasting to Facebook. Seems like most of the people that are tuning in on YouTube. I am noticing that. I've got a couple people from Facebook, it looks like. I'm looking at that. Yeah, I don't see a single person from Twitch. Doesn't seem like we're really catching fire on Twitch. Looks like YouTube's the winner so far. Terms of all this, but anyways, I'm just talking I'm talking to y'all, but This is not like feedback on music. This is me just like trying to figure out, we're just trying to figure this space out. We don't know exactly, we really just honestly don't know exactly what we're doing here, which is the perfectly honest truth. But when I say we, Sonnet and I, we're trying to figure out a way to bring Too Indie to the public. And we thought that creating some kind of a talk show format could be fun. And I've always wanted to host one. So what I'm trying to do here on Thursday nights. If you enjoyed it, mark it off on your calendar for next time. I'm going to try to be very consistent about this, showing up each and every Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to hopefully entertain you, hopefully educate a little bit, and we can have a little bit of fun here as a community. And for anybody who doesn't know anything about Too Indie, it's very easy to find us on the internet, on Instagram, and elsewhere. It's just tooindie.com. Tooindie.com. All right. That's all I got. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you for everybody who caught us on the replay, and we'll see you next time. All right.